G'day, Paul here from Small Crown Productions. I am super excited. I've just gotten home from seeing Captain Marvel and I just had to talk about this film. So much so, I haven't even pulled the camera out. I'm just doing this into my phone. I just wanted to get some thoughts out into the world about this film. I loved it. I loved this film. I thought it was fantastic. Definitely top 2 or 3 in the Marvel universe for me. It's absolutely up there with the high standards of all of the films. I'm always reluctant to give something the #1 spot, but this film is pushing there. Oh, it was good. Really good. So a couple of things that I loved about this film. I'm not going to go deep into the analysis of the comic book lore. I'm not a comic book nerd. I didn't read comic books as a kid. Maybe the odd Archie comic that I found lying around, but I just wasn't into comic books. It was not something that we had money for, that I got into. I was a theatre kid. I loved acting, so I never really got into the comic books. But I go to comic book movies and superhero movies to just relax and have fun. And this movie nailed it. It was a lot of fun. It was really great to see the backstory of Captain Marvel and the development of that character and how she came to be. A little bit more backstory around Nick Fury and a surprise agent that I didn't expect. I'll try not to make any spoilers in this, but spoiler alert just in case. There shouldn't be any, but you never know. But yeah, I thought this was a really well put together film. A few things that I want to talk about. If you're a student of acting, I want you to pay attention to the scene between Nick Fury and Captain Marvel when they are flying away from Earth for the first time together. There is a dialogue between the two of them that, for me as an actor, was just fantastic. It was so relaxed. It was so natural. It was layered, but it was just so cleanly delivered. It was beautiful. And it really did feel like two people who were becoming friends in that moment. I've seen a couple of interviews with Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson, and they've both talked about how much they like working with each other. They get on really well. I really think that was evident through the performances and the way that their characters develop a friendship over the period of the film. So if you're a student of acting, pay particular attention to that scene. If you are a student of writing, I want you to pay particular attention to the scene between Captain Marvel and her old best friend, Rambeau. Not Rambo, Rambeau. Really great scene. And my wife and I were chatting about that scene afterwards, and we did a bit of a look at the team that put the screenplay together. And there was a massive team of women involved in writing the screenplay and developing this story. And I think that is just so evident in that scene. The way that scene is crafted, the scripting of that scene, the way it plays out. Yes, I know there's editing involved. I get all that. But ultimately, they start with the words on the page. And that was just so well put together. And I actually think it really shows that the quality of that conversation was written by women for women. And I think that was just such a great moment of relationship between them. It was like two old friends in one sense, kind of catching up like things hadn't passed, but there was also obviously a whole bunch of other stuff going on. But just a really great moment. So if you're into writing and you're studying writing, have a look at the way that the dialogue in that scene was constructed. I think you'll really get a lot out of it. A couple of the other things that I really loved in this, I think that Joss Whedon has had a very strong impact on the script writing of the Marvel films since he did Avengers. And not obviously, not over the entire script, but I think he brought in a level of layered nuance and fun, and that moment where the Hulk grabs Loki and puny god and those kinds of things have started to bleed more and more and more into the Marvel films. And then you get that ante upped even more. The level was raised by Taika in Thor Ragnarok with the character that he voiced, and just some of the comedy that came through in that with the New Zealand accent playing on the stereotypes of that for that alien character. hilarious. And we see a little bit more of that again with a couple of the characters in this film. I won't tell you who they are, I won't tell you what it's about and what the moments are, but just look out for the non-verbal moments that really add to the comedy and just bring a little bit more layered fun to this film. I thought, and I think, the way that the Marvel MCU scriptwriters are layering some of those non-verbals in are just fantastic. I think they're doing a really great job with that. So watch out for the non-verbals. Love them. I loved the cut scene that it's in the trailer. And I loved it in the trailer, that cut scene where you see her as a little girl and then a teenager and then a young woman and then that older woman in the Air Force uniform standing up. They've all fallen over and they're standing up. I loved that cut scene in the trailer. I loved it even more in the context of the film. I just thought it was so well done. And I just loved it. Oh, loved it so much. Fathers, take your daughters to see this film. Let them revel in the joy of seeing a lady get up there and own the spotlight and just kick some serious butt and do it well. The other thing that I loved about this film is that there was no sexualization at all. There were no close-up butt shots in Lycra. There was no turns of, sort of look at this sexy profile. There was none of that. These were just people who were soldiers doing a job and doing what they had to do. And I thought it was just fantastic that we just got to see women kick some butt and not have all that other crap that is so often put into films, let's be honest, by male directors. I just loved that was just non-existent in this film. I just loved that, and the strength that she had through this film, that then she finds she has even more. Was so well done. And I loved, again, just the whole construct of her storyline and the development of that, the way they did all of the jumping from scenes to scenes, backstories with different characters. I just think they nailed it. I think they did a great job. So that's my review, not to mention the fantastic cast: Annette Bening, Jude Law, tick, 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 so many. Ben Mendelsohn, so good. Great cast, great script, really well directed, really well performed. Loved it. We'll definitely be going to see it again. And again, fathers, take your daughters to see this film. They deserve it. See you next time.